Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's 7 minutes past the hour on this 25th day of September. Welcome to hashtag Truth Be Told slash JD Live, your early morning. Get up, wake up, wake up. Your early morning inspiration, information, motivation, conversation that promotes elevation. Yours truly, Joe Dupree in the building. We're broadcasting live on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, Twitter X at the JDMS, and on YouTube. We're at 100 BLK Media. So good morning to all my people. I see you jumping in on YouTube, on Instagram, all my Facebookers. Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Man, where did this week go to? I be moving. Of course, I have on my Southern University Columbia blue for a reason. The Boombox Classic is this weekend. Man, it's going to be going down. If you have the opportunity to be in Baton Rouge at A.W. Mumford, get ready. It's going to be all that and a bag of chips. It is Turn Up Thursday. Turn down for what? So we start off this morning, 8 minutes past the hour. We start off this morning, of course, with our prayers going out to Dallas, Texas. I'm a little bit confused, but I'm going to tell you why I'm confused in a few minutes. We're going to talk about what happened in Dallas. Present thoughts go out with the victims and the individuals who lost their lives. Now, I don't know those individuals' names. I would like to know those individuals' names because those individuals are human beings. They weren't just immigrants. They weren't just illegal. They were human beings who somebody senselessly took their life. Now, the reason we're going to try to dive into this when my panel comes in here is I'm a little bit confused about it. A little bit confused. Of course, the viral video is went out there about two individuals who is representing the MAGA movement going to my home state to a university I never attended, but one of our HBCUs. There is a great number of HBCUs in Tennessee. I did attend one. I attended the Lane College in Jackson, Tennessee, historical Black college and university. But they went to Tennessee State. One of the esteemed alumni from Tennessee State is Oprah. I'm waiting to see what Oprah going to say about this. But they went to Tennessee State in a Charlie, I'm not even going to say the name, in a CK style. Let me set up a table and a chair and let me take questions and let us debate. We're going to talk about what happened with that. I want to see, can I show you a little video footage of some things that was videoed from that encounter where campus police escorted those two gentlemen off campus. Family, I don't know what's going on. I really don't. I'm a little bit perplexed, a little confused, and I'm asking myself, where with the rhetoric in this country are we really going? I posted a few days ago, and once again, when I post the truth, people get upset. And I wish you would be as upset on my post as you are in my inbox. So, Black conservatives reached out to me and said, "Oh, we wish that those 8 years of Obama, they would have tried to come after so and so saying such and such about Obama because it was true." It still doesn't negate truth or not truth. There was a lot of heinous things said about President Barack Obama by a lot of conservative right-wing media. Glenn Beck, John Hannity, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and the list goes on and on. And I didn't see nobody get canceled. I didn't see nobody get threatened by the FCC chair to get their license pulled. I just didn't see that. I didn't see the owners of the local Fox or the local conservative media outlet say anything about, hey, we got to watch our rhetoric toward this president. If anything, I saw individuals say that freedom of speech needs to be more free now. Just because I don't see it the way you see it doesn't mean I should be quiet. I should be able to say it as loud as I want to say it. It's freedom of speech. And that gets to be a little worrisome. It gets to be a little bothersome. Because I say it all the time. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when we do it. It is 12 minutes past the hour. And maybe sometimes I ask myself, man, I'm in here solo, and why am I here solo? And I know I'm here solo for a reason. Yesterday, I saw everybody with and I agree with everybody. It was horrific that a person decided to shoot at an ICE detention facility. I heard very little about the victims, and I heard how this was a targeted attack against ICE. And I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm not FBI. I'm not an investigator, nor was I on the scene. But I heard very little about the two that were wounded. I know the killer, the shooter, the killer, the murderer, because that's what he was, killed himself. But there were two people wounded and another person dead who were immigrants, who were illegal immigrants, but nevertheless, they were human beings. I haven't heard their names yet. I saw a cartridge or a group of ammunition with anti-ice wrote on it. But once again, the facts are, from what I'm being told, once again, it's the messaging. I'm not hearing any empathy for the individuals who were detained in a van who were shot. The ICE agents driving the van weren't shot. The illegal immigrants were shot. They're human beings. Let's not dehumanize them. Let's not dehumanize them. No. Who are they? Who are they? Now, don't get me wrong. I hate that this person got on that roof with a sniper rifle and decided to take anybody's life. But let's look at some of the facts here, because the facts are being perpetuated. And I understand why there is heightened security across the nation at ICE detention centers, because there should be. But then the question is, did he shoot ICE agents or did he shoot the people that ICE detained? And I'm not hearing too much of the narrative of the individuals who were detained. And I don't know were these people in these vehicles handcuffed, not handcuffed, or they probably were, because to me, detained means you're not just going to be sitting in a van, not handcuffed. In other words, as country folks would say, where I come from, he was shooting ducks in a barrel. All due respect to the individuals who are at these positions of directors, to the president, to the vice president. I'm not here to debate or to argue. I know there is an onslaught and negative media and press going out there when it comes down to law enforcement. But I sure like to know, and don't get me wrong, I like to know, because I know the name of the shooter. Can I get the name of that's the shooter? That's the person who perpetrated and committed this heinous act. Can I get something about three individuals, the three human beings, one who is now dead, and the other two who are, I don't know if they're critically wounded, are they stable? I don't know their condition, but they are human beings. That could have been that is probably somebody's brother, sister, mother, father, son, daughter. Why does everything have to be so political? Why can't we just calm down the rhetoric and say, this person who we don't know, was he mentally ill? Did he have hate in his heart? We don't know, was this a mental issue? Is this a hate issue? Did a heinous crime. And now 2 individuals are wounded and 1 individual is dead, and they're human. They breathe the same air we breathe. Blood runs through their vein like runs through our vein. And I don't know. I just I I just don't know. I just don't know. And I am saddened by this to a part of what's the message? That's the question I have been asking. What is the message? What is the message? What message are we sending? And I think we have a responsibility to give a message that would be the message we would want if that had been one of our loved ones, somebody we concerned and cared about, because that is literally somebody's family member. Mind you, I know the shooter's name. I know the person who perpetrated the crime's name. Our president came out immediately and said this person is a progressive, left-wing nut job. I don't know if that's true or not, because they said the same thing about CK's shooter. And I don't know if that's true, because just because you have certain views does not put you on the left. In other words, they're trying to say if you have, and please forgive me. Please forgive me because I'm about to botch this up. But if you have views that is from the LGBTQA plus community, I hope I got that right. You got to be a Democrat, and you got to be on the left, and you have to be on the extreme left if those are your views and the lifestyle you live in. That is a lie. Because I know folks that are as Republican and conservative as the day is long who's in that community. And I'm just trying to figure out why it's almost, I feel like this Republican Democrat thing is almost like mama daddy. Everything good comes from your mama. Oh, the smile, everything good. But every bad quality you got came from your daddy. It's like the Republican Party right now is literally, in a way that I'm trying to put in hyperbole, they your mama. Ain't nothing bad come from them. And everything bad. Your bad attitude, your lying ways, and all that stuff. Everything in you that's horrible came from your daddy. And it seems to be they don't put the progressive and the Democrats and the daddy cat, because everybody love mama. Mother's Day is highly celebrated. Father's Day is might get a pair of socks, some drawers. I'm just saying. I'm asking, are we paying attention to the message? How folks are messaging? You know, I laugh because I'm in the business of messaging. And I had to, after watching yesterday and listening and seeing press conferences and going through my head, I asked, am I giving out the proper messaging? Did I reevaluate myself? So last night I began to look at some of the prior podcasts that I've put out there and some messaging I've done. And I asked myself, yo, you got to do better, because these are human beings. CK, though I won't say his name, was a human being, and he did not deserve to be murdered. These immigrants, though they were illegal, did not deserve somebody with a sniper rifle on a roof shooting them and killing them. killing one of them and wounding the other two. Okay, they were illegal. Being illegal in this country should not be anybody's death sentence. Saying what you feel should not be a death sentence for anybody in this country. Unfortunately, it has been, will continue to be. As I said in earlier podcasts, and I have the data to back it up, there's been over 1,800. If not, I got to get the number. I don't know if it's 1,800, 18. It's been a buku, a smorgasbord of folks who have lost their life to gun violence this year up to this date. Is that? Let me ask that. We always do it. I might as well do it live. Let's see what Google has to say. Let's just see. How many people year to date in 2025 have lost their life in the United States of America to gun violence? Let's see what happens here. Okay. The AI of Google says, this is what the AI of Google says. As of September 24th, 2025, the Gun Violence Archive recorded a total of 10,897 homicides, murders, and unintentional gun death in the United States for this year. This figure does not include suicides, which are a major component of gun-related fatalities in the U.S. in 2023. For example, more than half of all gun deaths are suicide. It says additional statistics from the Gun Violence Archive for 2025 includes, listen to this, total injuries, 19,906 from gun violence. Mass shootings, 317. Child deaths by gun violence this year, ages 0 to 11. This year, in the United States of America, 175 children from the ages of 0 to 11 have lost their lives to senseless gun violence. Teen deaths in the United States of America this year only, year to date, ages 12 to 17, 749. I'm not going to say another thing. What are we doing? What messaging are we putting out there when we have these many families, friends, associates grieving the loss of someone they loved and cared for at the hands of somebody who killed them or injured them due to gun violence? Family, what are we doing? What are we doing? To the individuals yesterday and everyone in the Dallas area that was affected by this senseless act of gun violence, now is the time that we, as we have many times before, ask our legislators, leaders, those who are concerned about the well-being of us as human beings, say something, do something, bring about a change. When is enough going to be enough? When's enough going to be enough? These numbers are crazy. For 2025, for this year, we're on the 25th day of September. 25th day of September. There has been over 19, almost 20,000 folks here today. From the 1st to the day, from the 1st of January to the day, there's almost 20,000 folks who have either died or been injured due to gun violence. Folk. Now, when we go down, since everybody say, well, grown folks do what grown folks do, let's talk about the children. Children newborn to age 11, they haven't even had a chance to live life at all. 175 children ages 0 to 11 have lost their life this year senseless gun violence. Teen death. Now, I don't know that this includes suicide, but teen death, ages 12 to 17, 749 due to senseless gun violence in the United States of America. And yesterday, folk in DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth area, experienced once again chaos being propagated through media of a situation where an individual shot at an ICE detention center. I understand that he shot at a building, but he killed immigrants who are nameless for some odd reason. They don't have a name. And first thing somebody will probably come out and tell me is, well, the reason they don't have a name is because they're illegals. Being an illegal doesn't give you a death sentence, in my opinion. It's my humble opinion. It doesn't give you a death sentence. I have not to this day heard it to this moment. And I'm monitoring, I'm watching news while I do this podcast. I haven't seen where they said these are the names of the individuals wounded. This is the name of the individual who died. I do have the name of the shooter. And I'll be very honest, if you only knew what I do outside of this podcast, the last person I want to talk about is the guy who did the shooting. I'm not glorifying the shooter. To be exact, those who work in media, who work in public information of giving information out about individuals who do these heinous crimes, you're supposed to respect the victims and the family enough not to talk about the shooter. To be exact, the shooter is not relevant. I'm not going to make the shooter the focal point of what happened. We're going to talk about the good people who live good lives, that he took their life with no ambiguity, with no regard for their family or the air they breathe in or the life that they would live past the day he decided on his own to play God and take their life. Like I said, the messaging that's bothering me more than anything else is how all of a sudden now it's a full-out attack on ICE. And no offense, maybe I missed something, and I pray that this doesn't happen because I don't want this to happen. I am in the occupation of working in law enforcement. I don't need people out here getting on rooftops shooting at officers. But if I'm listening to the reporting, not a ICE officer was injured or shot at. The people who died were the people who were detained. And if I am correct, once you detain a person, they're in your care. The people who are in the care of ICE for whatever crime that they were alleged to have committed, that they were going to go through the process of finding out, are these crimes valid and can we do whatever statutes say we can do to them because they committed the crime. They were in the care of ICE when they were, one was the same thing that happened to CK. One was executed by a sniper who, for whatever reason, decided, you don't deserve to live. Whew. Miss Williams just said a mouthful. I'm just, listen, it's 32 minutes past the hour. Um, Hashtag Truth Be Told has turned into JD Live. Everybody this morning on this Turn Up Thursday must have had a wilding out Wednesday. I'm in here. I'm in here solo bolo, and I don't mind being solo bolo. I just want y'all to I woke up, I went to bed last night and asked myself the question, what am I saying? And is what I'm saying A, uniting or dividing? And B, what is really the difference between me and somebody who's not melanated like me outside the melanation of our skin? I'll wait. Since I put that in a verbal manner that most educated folks call, but I got to keep it simple, stupid. I'm black. Most folks would identify me as a black man. There are white men out there and white women out there, and besides the color of our skin, what is really our difference? I'll wait. Somebody please answer that for me. Somebody, outside of the color of our skin, what is really our difference? Don't we wake up every morning? Don't we breathe the same air? Don't they have 5 fingers, 10 fingers and 10 toes? And unless they were born with some deformity, I mean, let's just talk about it. Don't we all have 2 eyes, 1 nose? I mean, unless you were born with some deformity, outside the color of your skin, what is the difference? I'll wait. And why can we not look at each other like human beings? Why is it all of a sudden, yeah, you're a human being, but you love different than me, and that doesn't make it all of a sudden now, because you love different than me, you're not a human being. Because you have a different political view than I have, you're not a human being. Because you live in a certain zip code or a certain state or a certain place, you're not a human being. When will we get back to understanding we are all human beings? I'll wait. Good friend of mine, not gonna call his name out, said it's hard to find Jesus if you haven't found yourself. Woo. Man, I had to breathe when he sent me message he sent me. He said, too many folks are seeking for someone else and they're not seeking for themselves. And he said, and we have been so much given this propaganda that in order to find yourself, you got to find somebody else. No, first you got to find yourself. And once you find yourself, you have to understand who works through you. You got to find out who you are and whom's you are. First, he sent me a very eloquent letter where he said, what bothers him the most is we put the cart before the horse and then we try to figure out why we ain't going nowhere. Or if we are going somewhere, why is it taking so long? Why is it so hard? Because it's easier for a horse to pull a carriage than the horse to push it, to use his head and try to nudge it forward. I told my friend I thank him for making me reevaluate a lot of stuff I do with this podcast, with life, to understand. And yesterday was once again when I saw the message. I said, have we no empathy for the people who were wounded, or the people, or the person who lost their life outside the person who took his life? I'm not here to tell you what to think, nor am I here to tell you how to think. Please start using the thing between these two ears, behind the eyes, that the thought process allows certain things to come out your mouth. You got to start thinking. I'm watching the news cycle, and in the news cycle, I've seen, of course, everybody's talking about what happened in Dallas. They're also talking about what happened at the UN with our president speaking there, and the now all of a sudden triple, as he called it, sabotage. Um, I was looking at CNN. I just went to MSNBC trying to see what they're talking about. Talking a lot about freedom of speech and council culture. Once again, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when we do it. I'm going to end the last part of this show talking about this incident that happened at Tennessee State University. From what I've seen, what I've been told, I wasn't there, so I can't give you an eyewitness. This is what happened. Most universities and colleges, regardless if they're state or private, has a policy about you being on campus if you're not a student. Because if you're not a student and you're on campus, you're considered a visitor. And at any given time, you being a visitor at a college campus, you can be asked to leave that college campus, just like if you are a visitor at my home. I don't have to have you in my home, or on my yard, or in my backyard, or at my pool, or on my patio. I can calmly tell you, time for you to go. I'm waiting to get more video from Tennessee State, because I know there's some video out there. With the climate of this country, with what happened at Delta State University, which seems to be, we once again, it happens, we get in an uproar, and you hear nothing else about it. Trey Reed. I haven't heard another word about Trey Reed. Did not see anything in mainstream media of any significance that even talked about Trey Reed. After what happened at Delta State University with Trey Reed, and if you don't know what happened with Trey Reed, there was an African American male who was a student at Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi, that was found hanging outside the pickleball courts, close to the the main campus area, from a tree. After what happened in Utah with CK, two Trump supporters, we're not going to call them MAGA supporters, because I don't know whether they MAGA. I didn't see anything that said MAGA on them from what I've seen, but they were definitely Trump supporters, because one of them had, well, I take that back. One of them did have a red hat that said "Make America Great Again," which, if you break that down, is MAGA. Went to Tennessee State University in a CK style. I'm showing up here. Hold it. Now, understand, the difference is they weren't invited. It wasn't a sanctioned event. It wasn't the police on campus didn't know about it, the local authority. No, they just decided to show up and said, we're going to in a CK style forum, set up a table, put up a sign, y'all come and debate us. Sir. Not in these days and times, sir. If you want to do something like this and you want to do a HBCU tour, why don't you organize it? Why don't you do what CK did? Why don't you get with the administration, the school, get with whatever factions there is at the school that can get permission that you come on campus at a set time, at a set place, and y'all go for it. Now that's another thing I don't like the messaging. The messaging is what y'all scared of on HBCUs. Wait a minute, baby. Do you understand what black folks went through in the United States of America for the last 400 years, 200 years, however long? Hell, since the formation of this country, do you not know what we've been through? And stop making it seem like y'all ain't been through nothing. I'm tired of that too. I'm tired of that message. Oh, y'all ain't been through nothing. My ancestors, I hate it. I hate it when folks who are not black and brown kind of slide into me in a conversation. My ancestors had it hard too. That's very insensitive. I'm just telling you, when you do that, if you are one of the people out there that is white, and every once in a while you try to slide in, my ancestors had it hard too. The frontier was hard. Colonizing this country was hard. Being in the swamps of Louisiana was hard. Coming from Canada and coming down, being Cajun and being this, that, these, and the third, for us good old white folks, it was hard too. When you say that to folk who ancestors came here on slave ship, you're being very insensitive. In my opinion. Now, you might have some black and brown friends who will agree with you. There are plenty of Stevens and Stevenettes out there. I'm just not one. Which is crazy. Because if you look up the city I was raised in, I grew up in, Henderson, Tennessee, barely had 7,000 people. Out of those 7,000 people, I think if you break down the minority, we might be 10%. I have a lot of friends that are not black and brown that I grew up with on the farm in rural living. Maybe their parents may have felt some type of way about me being black and brown. But the majority of them, and I can name one out right now, Tim Stout. Tim Stout. I was just thinking about Tim a few days ago. We were just two old country boys running around Chester County. Herbie Latham, Brent Skinner. Name a few names. Jeff. These were my friends. They weren't white guys. I probably wasn't the black guy. And if I was the black guy that was really their friend. And they were the white guys that were really my friend. Marla Newman. I can name a Tracy Plunk. Name a plethora of folks that I look at as human beings that I grew up with. Don Ross. Shane Lott. And Shane is as conservative as the day is long. Joey Harris. Love Joey. Love Shane. Couldn't tell me these weren't good people. Can't tell me right now. They may have a different philosophy than me, but I know their hearts. And I know right now, if I needed them, they're there for me. Now, they may have different philosophies and formulations of religious beliefs and political beliefs, still my friend. So understand, we've got to get back to a place where we can be human to one another. I did not ask. And once again, how are you trying to hold somebody responsible for something they didn't even ask for? I didn't stand before somebody and say, please send me down looking like this. Those choices were not made by me. Who my mother and my father decided to make a they decided to make a baby together, be it by choice or by accident. Their union, I had nothing to do with that. I didn't come down in spirit and say, "Hey, I need y'all two to get together." However, family, it doesn't mean, though I had nothing to do with it, that I need to turn a blind eye to what has been done. Just because I had nothing to do with it does not mean I need to turn a blind eye to what has been done. In other words, I had absolutely nothing to do on either side with slavery, but I can't turn a blind eye to what has been done. I can't act like because I had nothing to do with it. The craziest thing you can say to me is, I ain't never owned a slave. Just because I had nothing to do with it does not mean I cannot I need to turn a blind eye to what has been done. We've got to pay attention. In the Holy Bible and in the Holy Quran and in a few other spiritual parchments of paper that is out there, from Hinduism, I think in the Jewish Kabbalah, it talks about karma. It talks about ain't nothing new under the sun. Believe it or not, in each holy book, you will find a passage that basically says the same thing. There is nothing new under the sun. In other words, there's nothing going on that hasn't went on before. Regardless of what your religious beliefs are. I am, like I told you, I do not deal that much with commercial religion. I consider myself a very spiritual person. There are those who will have a problem with what I said, and if so, that's your opinion. Once again, this country gives you the right to have an opinion. We're not Russia. We're not where when you say something against Vladimir Putin, you run the risk of being put into a Siberian death camp. That's what still happens in Russia today. We're in the United States of America where your freedom of speech should not be a death sentence or you're going to take my freedoms away from me a sentence to put me in jail, incarcerate me because I say something that you don't agree with or I'm against somebody that you're for. If that's the case, then every Sunday a lot of us should be going to jail because I cannot stand the Cowboys. But I love the Steelers. Nine minutes to top of the hour. Welcome to hashtag Truth Be Told, which has turned today into JD Live. I want to end today's podcast on this Turn Up Thursday. Turn down for what? But once again, you can go back to the front of the podcast. I ask Google. I asked Google. I asked Gemini, Google AI. Wait a minute. And hold on. Back. Start doing stuff your phone starts doing. And it said the following when it came down to gun violence. It said, as of September 24th, 2025, the Gun Violence Archives reported a total, United States of America, of 10,897 homicides, murders, and unintentional gun deaths in the United States of America. This figure that I just gave you of 10,897 does not include suicide, which are a major component of gun-related fatalities in the U.S. I also gave you the other further statistics, and as I look and read even further, they do not include suicide. So, with suicide not being included into this number, listen, suicide is not included in this number. I asked this morning, and Google said the following: total injuries, people who have either been killed or injured due to gun violence, suicide not included. 19,906. Mass shootings. A mass shooting is where 4 or more people are shot, not including the shooter. So let's define what a mass shooting is. 4 or more people are shot, not including the shooter. There has been 317. We always talk about the two things that we're always going to be concerned about is the children and the elderly. I don't have elderly numbers, but listen to these children numbers. Ages 0 to 11, there has been 175 children who have either been injured or killed due to senseless gun violence. From the first of the year to right now. Oh, take that back. I was wrong. Not injured. Not injured. I read that completely wrong. It says children death. It's child death. So these children died due to senseless gun violence, ages newborn to 11. Senseless gun violence, 0 to 11, 175 children so far this year have lost their life to senseless gun violence. Teens who have died, not including suicide. Teen death to senseless gun violence from the beginning of this year to right now, 749. 749. Here's a note. The Gun Violence Archive provides real-time tracking based on daily compilations of law enforcement, media, and other resources data. This differs from the official data of the CDC, which is compiled from death certificates and becomes final several months after the end of the year. That's my disclaimer. Because once again, I asked, this is the AI response. It may have got it right, it may got it wrong, but we can say some approximate. One death, senseless gun violence is one too many. Period. Family, we got to do better. I see you, family. I see you out there on YouTube. Much love to y'all. I see all my Instagram fam. What's happening, Instagram fam? And also, I see you, Facebook fam. It has been an episode of JD Live on this Turn Up Thursday. Turn down for what? Getting you ready for the weekend. The weekend. This is Friday, Junior. The weekend is almost here. Y'all take care of yourselves. Be safe. The Boombox Classic, the Southern University Jaguars taking on Jackson State, the Tigers. I still got a question about the White Tiger. I'm going to ask that question tomorrow. Oh, family, I'm getting ready to get up out of here. So, watch what we say. Watch how we say it. Watch what's in your heart and how it comes out of your mouth. And let's start being more human. Sadly, once again, yesterday, people were injured, not illegal immigrants, not detainees. Human beings were injured. One human being lost their life due to senseless gun violence. Yes. With that being said, I'm getting ready to get up out of here. Listen, be better today, family. Were yesterday. And on purpose, do something today to be a blessing to somebody else and expect absolutely nothing in return. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Give, and it shall be given unto you. That give is give to another human being. You don't have to know the human being. And you don't have to give monetarily. But whatever you give, make sure that that will enrich that person's life in some shape, form, or fashion to make their today better than their yesterday. Always remember that there is no secret what God can do. What he has done for others, willing he can do. But when God is with you, nothing or no one can stand against you. Be blessed. Have a great day. Lord's willing, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm up out of here. Peace.